Join the Craig Levitt Show Sunday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m. on 50,000 Watt News Talk 720 KDWN. The Craig Levitt Hour will be about living the American dream and empowering the American spirit. Sundays, 7 to 8 p.m.
Which way, America? Which way, America? Which way, America? Which way to go? This is my country and I want to know which way America is going to go.
Morning, this is Craig Levitt.
And this is Christopher Finnegan.
And we're on the Craig Levitt Show. It's Thursday.
Yep.
Wow. Thursday already, and we're just plugging along here, having more fun than we're entitled to have on our daily show. And we love you folks out there. We get the most interesting messages from you. The other day, I guess it was Monday or one of the shows that I was kind of going off on politics. I had just a very simple message that came across the social media from one of our listeners, and there was the word "what" and a question mark. And so I answered the "what" message and said, because I'm really a man of many words. So when I answered that one, I just said "what" and 2 question marks. And I mean, communicating with me is a real trip. And those of you that have not tried it really ought to, just so that you can understand how a confused and chaotic human being sounds. So then he caught on to the drift of what we were doing, and he answered me back, "What?" with 3 question marks. And I thought, whoa. So I texted him back and I said, what was the first "what" with a question mark for? And he did whatever you do on Facebook. He got back to me and he said, what was your show about today? I listened to it and I had no idea what your show was about. And so I was pretty embarrassed. And I asked Christopher, I said, Chris, you sit right here by me the whole time. Was there a problem with the show? And he shook his head, yes. And I said, how about Tuesday? Because that was election day, and I was sort of on one. Was that confusing and chaotic too? And he shook his head, yes. So I apologize, folks. Occasionally, just occasionally, I go into a different time zone. And I'm on a different planet or something. I don't know. Now, don't go around and say, hey, the Levitt guy is an alien. In fact, about the only place I would be an alien would be in Mexico. Anyway, because I would be undocumented there, right? And so I'd be an alien. Anyway, so we were kind of reviewing some of the past shows, and it may sound like we're a bit random, and it may sound like we're a bit disorganized, unorganized, or uncalibrated when we take the air. But really we're not. We think we have something to say.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah. Every day before we go on the air, Christopher says, now, how is today going to go? I mean, do you have something in mind? Of course I have something in mind, Christopher, I say. And he says, good. Don't tell me about it. Just good. Don't tell me about it. So today I'm going to rectify all of the difficulties I've caused over the past little while on our radio shows, both on Sunday night and here during the week. Are you folks enjoying our broadcast every week, every day of the week, Monday through Friday? I mean, is this something that brings joy and happiness to your life? I hope so, and I hope you'll tell your friends. Listen to these guys. I mean, they're drug-free, but absolutely whacked out, or whatever it is you want to tell them. But we enjoy the information that you folks send. The back, what is it called? The feedback, not
There
the
you
back
go.
feed. Feedback. We like that.
We do. We love that.
Yeah, and people tell us, what is he on? The guy. Chris sounds normal and stable. Levitt sounds a little like he might need a little time at the Laughing Academy, but we enjoy this show, and we hope that you do too. Once again, today we want to give a hats off to our veterans. We talk a lot about P-Dub. He's a great guy. He has become such a good friend of ours. This Saturday, he's opening up in the Boulevard Mall there on Maryland Parkway in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's opening his second franchise called Dubway. It's a great sandwich shop. Christopher and I went there just yesterday.
We did.
When we first saw it was just kind of a hole in the wall with a for rent sign or a for lease sign, contact management on it. But he's got the cutest little place.
I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah, and people can actually go in there and get a nice Dubway sandwich, bowl of soup, all of which is homemade. Well, I mean, it's not homemade in the sense that he makes it at home and carries it in the backseat of his car to work, but it's freshly made soups and desserts and all these things. It's going to be fun. And remember that the grand opening of Dubway in that Boulevard Mall is on this Saturday.
Yes, November the 8th, 3 to 5 p.m. is the ribbon cutting.
It'll be a lot of fun. And, I'll tell you, my hat is always being doffed because this guy is what America's all about as far as entrepreneurialism is concerned. He's great. And he spreads the word. He's like a virus,
Wow.
Every time somebody comes in, he talks about the Craig Levitt Show. And he talks about we're friends, and we are. Whether we had a business relationship or not, he's the kind of guy that everybody would like to be friends with.
And are lucky if they are friends with.
Yeah, if you want anything, I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, what you need to help yourself in your business or help you get started or whatever, he'll just say, don't worry, I'll hook you up. And he makes arrangements with malls, management companies and and to get people who need a new start, a good start. And he's just a lot of fun. But I always take my hat off to him because he is a veteran, as I take my hat off to other veterans that I happen to see, whether it's in a grocery store, in a restaurant. I had this one poor guy the other day. He was actually a veteran of the Korean conflict. He had, after I talked to him, he had participated in one of the bloodiest battles in modern history, and that was at the Pusan perimeter. Anyone who has read about that or knows anything about the Pusan perimeter in Korea knows that it was just absolutely a merciless killing. And he was there, but I didn't know that when I walked up to him. He was wearing a veteran's hat, trying to enjoy a dinner. And I waltzed over and said, "Sir," and he looked up like I was the maitre d' asking for the bill, but he hadn't even started to eat yet. And I said, "Thank you for your service." And I reached out my hand and shook his. And you know that tears actually came to his eyes. Not for anything I really said except thanks. And then we talked and we had some fun and got to know each other a little bit. But we really have to do, if you go out to lunch or dinner, or if you're in the grocery store or Walmart or wherever, and you see a veteran, then for heaven's sakes, just take 1 second out of your busy shopping experience or your eating experience. And believe me, for me to take a second out of my eating experience is a big sacrifice. And just shake their hand and just say thank you for your service. Sometimes that's all we can do is just say thank you. But I think that we can all do that, don't you?
I think we can do at least that.
And they don't ask for anything. These veterans don't go, hey, back here, come here. You passed me right by and didn't say thank you. You know, I was in Vietnam, or I was in Korea, or I was in Afghanistan, I was in Iraq. You know, come on, people, show a little respect here. They don't do that. But in their own quiet, unobtrusive way, they just welcome any gratitude, you know, any sign of that the people cared and that what they did really meant something. And I think that's great. Go out and say hi to a veteran. Many times, in fact, Chris and I, we've been together when we've done this. We'll have a veteran and sometimes they're older. And we had a veteran and his wife go in and sit down to eat. And I motioned to the waitress. And I said, put this on my bill. Didn't tell him anything. And just say, someone who appreciates your service has taken care of the food. It was just very fun. And so if you're going to some place, I mean, In-N-Out Burger or McDonald's, if you really don't have a lot, go to McDonald's. And if you see a veteran there, you know, maybe just do whatever you think is right, you know, to say thanks. Well, I already got off on that one, didn't I?
Oh, I'm right there with you. I think we need to stop worrying about the rich 1% and start giving respect to the honorable 1%.
You know, I think that's great. I thought it's wow. Not only are you the techno nerd, you're a philosopher. But I happen to agree with you. Let's show the honor and the respect to the 1% who make it possible for the rest of us to be and do and act how we do. Good thought, Christopher. And God let you know, guys, it's the 6th day of November. If you're going to get your wife a good gift, you know you owe her jewelry. You know that she's expecting jewelry, even if she says she's not. I promise you. If she says, I hate jewelry, I'll never wear it, don't you ever waste our money on it. What she's really is saying is, you little cheapskate, I'm just preparing myself for disappointment. But you know she deserves jewelry, right? And you know that if you don't show up with it, her idea about the man she married, that would be you, or that she's contemplating marrying, that would be you. Maybe I don't know, maybe time to start, reevaluating. So no matter what she says, go down to Iceberg Diamonds in the Boulevard Mall. Tell Andy Caudry, Ali or Dee Dee, pull them aside quietly and just say, here's what I've done. What would you suggest would be an adequate reparation? And they're honest people. They'll look at you and go, well, let me show you some things, to which you will act excited and grateful. And then when he shows you something, you go, wow, I'm going to die. I'll be broke the rest of my life. My wife will love me, but I'll be broke. No. What they'll do is they'll say, listen, you've suffered enough. You should not have to pay retail prices here. Because, look, you've been beaten up. You're doing this for the right reason so that your wife will feel good about life and you. So how about if I give you an auction price for this. He says, you mean I don't have to pay the $3,500 on this sales tag? And Andy's going to go, shh, hey, quiet. I'm trying to do you a favor. You know, don't flip out like a moron, like that Levitt guy. Just how about if instead of $3,500, I would probably be able to sell this stone, this set, backed by GIA, Gemological Institute of America paper. So it's the best assessment and evaluation you could have. What if I got that to you for $2,100? You would do that, you will say, and Andy will go, my friend, for you, I would cheat myself. For you, I would cheat myself. And you're going to walk away and you're going to request that the $3,500 price tag stays on it. Accidentally, of course, so that your wife sees how much you love her. She has no need to know that you gypped her, down to $1,800 or $2,100. But guys, you know what I'm saying? So go to the Iceberg Diamonds right there in the Boulevard Mall. You're going to love it if you do. It's a great thing. So you know what we've been doing this week? We've been in Mesquite, Nevada. We're having fun here. It's a great little town. I mean, it's a tourist town, and it's an oasis. But it's a great place to be. It's an absolutely great place to be. And we have a lot of fun here. I told you today we were going to spend some time talking about, some of the people and businesses here. And we're going to do that, but we're going to do it tomorrow because it's going to be a lot of fun. We have something else we wanted to talk about today. And I guess it goes along with the disclaimer that I gave at the beginning of the show that just sometimes, my brain takes a vacation and my mouth runs wild. It's the old, while the cat's away, the mice will play. And I have a lot of fun, and I do have the ability to be offensive. So if I've offended anybody, I'm sorry, but I got to tell you one story. Okay, there are people out there who yesterday, once everybody knew what the election results were, terribly interesting. I had some people who were conservative talking about get out the vote. We've got to take over the Senate. Get out the vote. And they did. And the Republicans took over the Senate. So do you know what I got on a Facebook last night? Was, after the result of last night's election, I'm not sure I know how I feel about it. I'm going to have to take some time to ponder it. But before the election, same person, almost every day, we have got to take over the Senate. We have got to go out and vote. We've got to do all these things. And then as soon as we do, the person says, well, I don't know how I feel about that. So excuse me, I'm there. But Christopher and I spent some time talking yesterday. We went down to Las Vegas, the mall that I love to go in, and then talk to P-Dub and talk to a whole bunch of people. And we really love what we do. We love our show. We love everything that happens on our show. Well, I mean, I do. Some people go, what? And as we were coming back, we were sort of talking about the direction our shows take. What do we do? What is our message? Is our message simply that, hey, we got a radio show and that's really fun, so we can do whatever we want and offend people or help people or like people or cause problems with people? And we started talking about what is it that what is our message? What is our core message that we're trying to get across?
Well, I think we're all about empowering the American spirit to live the American dream.
Yeah, because that's what it says.
That's what it says.
And I got to tell you, living the American dream often sounds like there's just one way to do that.
That's true.
And that is to be filthy rich.
That's what a lot of people think.
Yeah. And well, I got to tell you this. This is really pertinent. I don't know how many of you follow Utah Jazz basketball, but there was a Hall of Famer named Karl Malone. And the guy was, he was really something. Well, I don't know why I told you that, except one day in a very nice, gentle moment, I said to my beautiful wife, Leanne, I said, sweetheart, you are my dream woman. And then I paused appropriately for what I thought would be the obvious response. And so I said, no, really, you're my dream woman. And Leanne said, thanks. And I said, oh. And I waited. You have to give an appropriate pause so that people will, I guess I have to say something. So that appropriate pause was, the time for that was well past. And I said, well, honey, am I your dream man? And she looked at me and she went, no. Have you ever seen Karl Malone's shoulders? So dreams are different. They're not the same for everybody. And so what my dream is may not be the same dream that Christopher has. And he's shaking his head and smiling like, thank goodness. And it might not be the same dream that you have, but it's an American dream. And so when we talk about the American dream, sometimes we think that it is only meant for financial success. And we push that. We enjoy that. That's what our Operation Luck is all about, having luck so that you can have the kind of income you need to enjoy the life you want to live. But everybody's dream can be different and can be just as motivating. And here's the neat thing, people. As people begin to realize their American dream, there is a power, a motivating power, a motion, an upward motion that we call the American spirit. Because America is meant to be the land of opportunity to realize whatever your dream is. Is that right?
Yeah, I totally agree. And people have to keep in mind, people don't come to America for riches. They don't come to America even for the opportunities, even though there's plenty here. They come to America because they want a piece of the American spirit.
That's so true. And that American spirit is empowered by the American people, not by the government, not by astrology or whatever else. It's people in motion that create the motion that empowers the American spirit to make those dreams come true. And so Christopher and I were talking a little bit about us and what we're all about. I mean, what is this show all about? What is it? Are we trying to offend people? No, because that certainly does not empower the motivating updraft to help us achieve our American dreams. Is it just to be random and have fun so that we can tell people, guess what? We have a radio show and that makes us celebrities. And so you want me to be on the Oprah Winfrey show or something or sign autographs? No, that's not why we do this. We do it because we are interested in helping people catch on to that empowering spirit, that energy that will make it possible for them to have their dreams come true. That's all we're trying to achieve here on this show, right?
Yeah, and it's that energy that brings this show to people every day and every Sunday.
Yeah, and that's why, I suppose that's why you tune in. Maybe your therapist has told you to tune in to us so that you can see what real wackos are like. But I would hope that people tune into our show because they feel some kind of a motivating uplift, or they feel some humor, or maybe they even have a spiritual moment where they are thankful to the heavens that this is not television and they would have to look at us. So maybe, there are a number of empowering reasons. But we got to thinking about these kinds of things as we were driving back yesterday, and we got to wondering, what is it that gives what we do value? Now, Adam Smith, he talks about value, and he talks about the fact that products that are produced and created have to have a base value so that you can charge people an arm and a leg, for prosthetics.
Wow.
That may be one of the great jokes of all time. Anyway.
There's some comments coming on that one.
What is it that gives America its worth, its value? So today, we wanted to just talk about value. In an election year, you hear every candidate say, we want to go back to American values. We uphold and support American values. And sometimes I want to know what the heck they're talking about. I mean, what are the American values? To the conservatives, the value of the United States is holding firmly and adhering to the basic principles put forth by the founding fathers. To the liberals, their values are, we appreciate what our founding fathers did and the Constitution they wrote, but they're all dead. And their children are all dead. And their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren, they're all dead. And we live in a different time. So their idea of a value is to be able to grow with the times and to do whatever we can for all the people. And what's interesting is they're both right. Because their values are what gives them worth. They rally around these values and they say, okay, this is what we stand for. This is who we are. And that's what values do. Now, when we were on the gold and silver exchange, where we had hard asset-backed currency, everybody knew what that dollar was worth. It was worth, or that coinage, or whatever the size of the bill, it was worth that amount in gold or silver. You knew that. So when you bought something for $1, it was like giving, it would have been called the McDonald's gold and silver menu rather than the dollar menu. And when you gave them $1's worth of gold or silver, you would get hamburger, or, oh, you know what I love? Oh, these onion burgers. Anyway, you would get one. But now we don't have that. Our money does not have a base value except what the government says it has. And so it can go up and down, and it can fluctuate terribly, side to side, all around the circle of things. But as a people, if we want to be like our currency that is not based on anything of substance, then we go, nuts, and we go everybody his own way, and we go wandering around. And you can see a lot of that today.
A lot of that.
I mean, especially on Fremont Street. If you go down to Fremont Street, you're going to see people who have no core base at all, and they wander around. And some of them don't wander; they just stand in the middle of the way and stare. So, what is it that makes American people? It is a certain core of values, like gold or silver or platinum, or my joke book, things of real value that we can use as the launching pad, as the basis for who we are, and then act accordingly. And I think that's really important. Who are we as a people? What is, and I'm gonna put Christopher on the spot. I'm gonna have some fun with this. There are several values that we can run through the litany of values, but there are only a few that are really solid, hardcore, that you can always rely on, you can always depend on. They will always define who and what you are. And we want to discover those. And in fact, before I put Christopher on the spot, and he's already got one of those headbands on that absorb sweat, because I put him on the spot. All of you think about it. And if you want to give us your answer, you want to participate, then all you have to do is contact us. How do they do that again, Christopher?
Well, I recommend they give us a call, 775-238-3792. They can also text us. It's the quickest way.
Yeah, you can text us, call us, Facebook us, do whatever you want, but I'd like to know what you people think about our values. Okay, Christopher, it's time for you to be on the spot. What is one value that you recognize that is unchangeable, solid, that we can use as a part of the core of who we are?
Family.
Well, that's a good one, because we do believe in families, don't we?
We absolutely do.
That's a good one. I wasn't expecting that one. But folks, sociologists and people who spend their life in school because they don't want to get a job studying these kinds of things suggest to us that the rough course our country is taking with the youth, one of the big problems is we don't have sit-down dinners anymore as a family. And we don't have that family solidarity. And let me tell you what, if people don't have family solidarity, that creates a vacuum. And heaven knows what kinds of things can come in to fill that vacuum.
I think we know what fills those vacuums.
Yeah, they wear their pants down below their butt and they write and scribble on walls. If any of you out there are gang members, I'm sorry. Okay, we apologize.
But if you're going to tag anyway, the Craig Levitt Show, daily.
Yeah, and tell all your homies, hey, you got to listen to this dude, man. He's really cool, man. You got to listen to him. And
go knock at his door in the middle of the night and ask him to rap.
Yeah. Find him where he lives. We need to know. His house needs a paint job. So anyway, by the way, I told you about my experience with all my little Hispanic friends on Halloween. I love those guys. Anyway, this sense of family extends beyond the home to the community and then to the whole country. Americans used to always be a big family. And if we were overseas and we met another American, it was like meeting another family member. I don't think we get that the same way anymore. So that was a great one. Families. Here's another one. We kind of talk about this every day and on Sundays. I love that. Every day of the week and on Sunday twice.
I was going to say, technically twice on Sundays.
One of the things that brought people to America from 1608 all the way till today is the right and the ability to be productive, to work, the opportunity to have a job is a lot. I mean, there are some people that come over to, nurse on the largesse of our entitlement system, but most people come to America because here they see the opportunity to work. And so one of our core values is our work ethic. Americans don't cheat Americans by taking government money when they have the ability to go out and work. Is that a value?
Oh, absolutely. Number 2 on my list.
In fact, the fact that people aren't out there working harms our country. So it can't be a value to be idle and lazy and a couch potato. However, and I say this parenthetically, however, because you are a couch potato, perhaps that's why you're listening to the show. You got nothing else to do. So you tune in to the Craig Levitt Show and listen to Chris and to me. And so.
So they're actually doing something for
Well, sure. And if that's the case, then don't get a job, because it's really important that you listen to our show.
Exactly. And it's going to take some time to listen to every episode. So keep your priorities straight.
If you're not really wanting a job, then you may be a terrible American, an anti-American, but you're a listener. So we're there.
And we love you for it.
For that, we love you. Yeah. Well, Christopher, you're on a roll. What is another value that you see?
Freedom.
Freedom. How many of you out there, by show of hands, and we can see you, how many out there agree with Christopher? Freedom. That's very good. I'm going to throw a little wrench in the monkey works there. Or no, a monkey wrench in the works. I'm going to ask a question about what Christopher just said. What is the difference between freedom and liberty?
Wow, that is a good question.
That's a great question. Thomas Jefferson said that we had some inalienable rights, that among these were life, liberty. He didn't say freedom. He said liberty and the pursuit of happiness. So what do y'all think? What is the difference between freedom and liberty? Oh, come on, people. I'm not hearing one phone ring. Okay. And this is not to shoot what you say down. Freedoms are very important. There are many freedoms that we have. But the God-given right was to liberty. That's pretty cool. So, freedom is just that. No chains, no bars, no ropes, no limits. You just go out and do whatever the heck you want. That's free. You're free. Born free as the wind blows. That was about a lion, and she eats other animals. But that was still free. You're free. You can think. You can dream. You are free to control your life. Liberty is a social concept. We have individual freedoms, so you are 100% correct. But then liberty is social freedom. And that means, liberty means freedom with responsibility. Freedom with accountability. See, if everybody was free, we wouldn't have any laws, because laws bind us and they tie us down. But liberty means I am free to participate in society subject to the rule of law. Does that make sense?
That's the best description I've heard.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I don't mind being in a land that is ruled by law.
Neither do I.
No, I don't either. But living in a home that is under the rule of law is difficult for me. I mean, the only two males in my home would be my Labrador Brutus and me. I'm the other guy. I love I love my wife. She is the hardest working. I mean, she's like a railroad crew laying down track lines. She's incredible. And my daughter, beautiful. She's in the Army, and she lives with us. And I got to tell you, I'm very blessed by the family I'm in. But I'm still in bondage. And so, no, I tease. So freedom is an individual gift. Liberty is how we use our freedom socially. Good value. That was great. So let's see. We have family. We have the work ethic, the privilege of working, and wow, we have freedom and liberty. Liberty means you have the opportunity within the scope of our society and the rule of law to enjoy good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the values that people don't often mention when they're talking about our core values as a country. But good luck is a core value.
It is.
People can't succeed without it. People can't have life, liberty, and happiness without it.
That's true.
Okay, so good luck is a national value. Got another one? You come up with some good ones. Go ahead.
Faith.
You know, that is. Why did you mention that one? That's an incredible one. Maybe that should have been first, but why did you mention that one?
Because it's what keeps us on track. It gives us our direction, some way to properly harness our liberty.
That's pretty good. You got a lot of sleep last night, didn't you? Because last couple of days you haven't had good night's sleep. So
Yeah.
you haven't been overly cogent. But today you're right on. Faith is an interesting word. If you believe in the Christian Bible, the King James Version of the Bible, I think if you read the book of Hebrews, it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And so when you're talking about good luck, you really can't have good luck without faith, can you?
No, you can't.
Wow, this is a great show. Let me tell you something else about faith, may I?
Absolutely.
You mentioned that faith gives us a direction. It gives us a way to go. It gives us substance, as Paul said. If we don't believe in something greater than ourselves, we have a real problem. I mean, if there's not something out there, and most people in most cultures, in most settings, call that divinity. If there's not a divine source of goodness, I call him Heavenly Father. And some people call him other things. But without that, if we have nothing greater than ourselves to worship and to look toward, I think we're in sorry shape.
I agree.
And I think it's hard to have faith as a general concept unless you have faith in something. And you can have faith in yourself, but generally for that to be effective, it has to be tied to having faith
In a higher power of some sort.
besides my wife.
Yeah. Well, there's no higher power.
No, there's no higher power than my wife. And so that's a great value. And we know right now that there is a great debate going on, and has been for some time, about the role of faith in the American way of life. So this is a value that has been challenged. And I hope that we are able to win that challenge. I certainly believe in it. Now, some people say, well, I don't know that I believe in a God, but I do believe in a philosophy that talks about goodness beyond us. So I'm not here to tell people what they have to have faith in. I believe in God. That's just part of our family, and that's part of what our tradition is. Some people believe in a concept of enlightenment or whatever that gives the idea that someday if we can become better than we are based upon this feeling that we have up here. Faith, I just think that is an absolutely incredible value. Because we can't be a successful country without faith in something. And by the way, folks, the government ain't something you have faith in.
That would be mistaken faith. That would be bad faith.
That would be, okay, that was inappropriate. I think you can have faith that people who are elected to do the right thing will do the right thing. Maybe that's a hope, so that we don't have to go through this all the time. Faith. Wow, that's a great one. I think I hope you folks are writing these down, because you can hold these up as a standard maybe and say, well, do I have these? How am I with my family? How am I with my freedom, my liberty, my work ethic? Am I doing everything I can to take care of myself so that my neighbors don't have to take care of me? But I think it might be a gut check time for how are we handling our faith, and in what do we have? Where is our faith originating, and where does it, point us? I just think that's absolutely cool. Can I give a neat definition I want all of you to write down? Along with faith, you have got to believe in something greater than yourself. Now, sometimes we think that belief is a more powerful word than it really is. Here's what it means to believe, okay? Years ago, I developed for my kids, when we were doing homeschool, the greatest mathematical concept in the history of mankind. And it's called the rule of one, because the number one is the only real number in all mathematics. Everything else is either a multiple or a division of it. One is wholeness. And don't one of you math teachers call me up and say, what about zero? Okay. Number one, and so I say that number one is truth. Okay? The word believe is this. I am willing to accept the possibility that something is true. That's what a belief is. It's not a knowledge. It's not a fact. I believe means I accept the possibility that something is true. And that's why we say I believe in things that I haven't seen. I believe in things that I feel more than things that I am able to tangibly embrace. Now, the more you work with faith and try to find truth, the more powerful that belief system is, until one day you have factual, actual, foolproof knowledge, which is called a fact, that something is true. Now, Christopher, for example, he has a belief that I'm nuts. And he every day he says to himself, I am willing to accept the possibility that this guy is absolutely, his canoe is going in circles because he doesn't have both oars in the water. And then he keeps every day observing, and his is almost going from belief to factual knowledge. So anyway, that was a great one, faith. Another value that we have, I think, that can be added to this list of core values, is honor. 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 Honor is a word that means that we're honest, that we're forthright, that we deal justly with one another, and that we can be called upon to defend others and their rights and their beliefs. And honor is that we live lives of unquestioned integrity. That's a good one. Not as good as some of the ones you came up with.
Well, I don't know. If we didn't have any honor, we couldn't have the veterans we love so much.
That's 100%. And guys like P-Dub who went out of their way to save everybody's lives.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, you got one more?
I do. Compassion.
Compassion. Wow, you know there's another nerve. He hit one on that one, didn't he? There's another word that goes along with compassion, and they're synonymous. And that word is love. I mean, when you consider what love really is, then it becomes an attribute of perfection. It becomes an attribute of holistic faith. It becomes a divine principle. Compassion. What do you define compassion as?
Well, I think you just summed it up. But I think compassion is the ability to feel stronger for someone else than you feel for yourself.
Yeah. Wow. And the word compassion, if you split it up a little bit, it means with passion. In other words, it's not just the Good Samaritan walking across the street and seeing this poor guy laying there beaten up and half naked and robbed and saying, hey, listen, when you come to, here's $5, see if it'll help you. But with passion, with feeling, with emotion, that's what passion is. You serve and love your fellow being. I think that's really wonderful. That's a good. Well, you're doing it. Wow. I think I'm going to let you be compassionate today and buy lunch. Anyway, just
no, I don't need to be that compassionate.
Well, we're working. We're still works in progress.
Correct.
We're a work in progress. And one of our values, and I'm going to have to close with this one. I think we're kind of getting towards the end.
I think we have a hell of a list going.
Well, we got one going. I think that one of our values is tied up in a word that is very difficult to define without all of the other values and all of the values that you can bring into it. And that is one of our root values is just America itself and all that America stands for. You know, America has a life beyond its people. It has concepts beyond its people. They say, well, did he not have enough sugar for breakfast? Because what's he talking about? The Native Americans referred to the earth in America as their mother, and that from the resources of this country came all that was good, and that they owed something to the land and its resources. Being an American means more than just having USA on your passport, you know, or land of origin, USA on your driver's license or whatever. America itself, this land, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, from the border north to the border south, has something that no other land has. And it's because of that value. I mean, I've talked to people who have come to the United States from other countries. And I said, well, I asked them, why did you come here? I said, because there's a feeling here. I mean, you go to Niagara Falls, you go to Grand Canyon, you go to Yellowstone National Park. You go to In-N-Out Burger. I mean, there are things here. There's a spirit, there's a feeling that just comes from America. And then I've had people, I had a friend that came here from China. He actually taught English as a professor at the University of Tianjin in China, the oldest Chinese university. He traveled to America frequently because the dollar was so weak, he could afford to, come to America. And I asked him, why do you come to America? And he loved it. He said, because when I come to America, for the month that I'm here, I feel differently than I feel anywhere else in the world. And then he said, Craig, and I said, yeah, I know I am. Yeah. He said, Craig, it's the Americans who don't understand what America is all about. Well, I took a little umbrage at that. And he says, no, look at how many people live in poverty in the richest country in the world. Look at how many people rob, steal, abuse other American people. That should never happen in America, he says. But when I'm out in the wilderness, or I take the train or the bus. He always went by train or bus. He didn't want to fly because above the ground he didn't feel, America. He said, when I'm in some places, I just feel at home. This is where I want to be. Well, I think we've covered a great list of core values. And I think maybe we can use these core values that we've talked about today to evaluate and assess our lives as to, are these the values that are in my life that make America my home? What do you think, Christopher?
I think we should absolutely do that.
How do you folks feel about it? You got our list. If you don't, then in about a half hour, tune in again. It'll be up for you to hear.
Well, actually, it's going to be up the second we're done. We're just that fast.
Yeah, but they got to go get a sandwich or something for a half hour.
Well, they can have some food while they read our list and process. What I recommend they do is they write it up, they post it on their refrigerator, and they go ponder it every morning.
That's a good idea. Well, thank you, Christopher, for all the stuff that you came up with, some goodies. And we learned a new word today. We learned the word liberty. There's another Greek word that's called ethos or ethics, which is how we deal with one another. And maybe a standard of ethics could also be part of our core values. But I'll let you all think about that one, while you're having your sandwich. But I'm pleased that today we were able to apologize for being random and apologize for being offensive, except for that one word that you let slip out that wasn't part of our core values. Of course, I do that too. Anyway, so we want to wish all of you a good day. Tomorrow will be Friday. It will be our last show for the week until Sunday night. And then Monday morning, of course, we start again at 11 o'clock. So we've had a great time. Have you had a good time, Christopher?
I've had an excellent time today.
Well, all of these things we've talked about is how we can empower the American spirit so that we can live the American dream, whatever that dream is for us. Now, we can't leave today without a quick mentioning again of our Operation Luck, because none of these things mean anything without luck. And what is luck again, Christopher?
When preparation meets opportunity.
Now, by the way, what he was doing, he was not. He was actually translating that into Arabic. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
When preparation meets opportunity, we have good luck if we're prepared. Hey, all of you have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
We will, and have good luck.
Which way, America? Which way, America? Which way, America? Which way to go? This is my country.